So, the topic for today will be about Filipinos are not picky when it comes to food. Hi, my name is Jeannie, and this is Bisaya in America, and this is my podcast. Anyway, so the Filipinos, we're not very picky with food. We eat anything, literally anything that does not run away from us or is still not living. We eat it. We eat weird stuff, weird food. Balut, duck's embryo. If you're Filipino, you get it. Some other cultures, they would frown on it. The way I see it is that each region has their own food source, and then when people get used to that food source, they just eat it. It's just eat whatever's available, and Filipinos are known for this. We love to eat. We are considered the hobbits of Southeast Asia. We eat 5 times a day. We eat breakfast and merienda or snacks before lunch, and then from lunch we eat another merienda or snacks, and then there's dinner, and then there's midnight snacks. So we just literally eat all day, and we're known for eating weird stuff and stuff that other cultures would frown upon. Not just a duck's egg, but maybe even blood. So we eat blood stew. We call it dugo. It's basically pig's blood with combined with vinegar and some spices, and then you chop up if you're really your stomach is really weak, you might not want to listen to it. But yeah, it's entrails and pig's face and stuff like that, and we chop it up and we just put it in there, the stew, the blood stew, and it's good. My grandmother used to make the bestest blood stew before, and unfortunately I don't have the recipe, so I just remember it. It was good. I didn't necessarily know when I was growing up that it was literally blood, or maybe I did. I didn't care. We just ate it. So for many generations, the Philippines, it's an island, so naturally, we can't grow a lot of beef, or not beef, but cows. It takes a lot of land, cattle. So pigs, boars, wild boars, pigs, it's easy to raise. The chickens are easy to raise. The fish, it's all over, it's in the ocean. And so we eat seaweed. Some other cultures would say ew, what is that slimy thing? But seaweed, it's available, it's free, it's in the ocean. We eat it, So yeah, I think it just boils down to prejudice and ignorance when you can't accept that where you are born, sometimes there's limited resources. You could be in Africa and maybe insects are the only things that you can eat there, so you develop a taste for it. The culture revolves around that eating of insects. There's nothing necessarily right or wrong about it. It just is. It's the culture, and I think some developed countries should be more accepting of that. We're not savages. We just eat what's ever available, what's in the land. So speaking of which, so only in America that I have met people that actually have a lot of food restrictions. They're oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. So I actually I will not disclose where I went, but I went to a place in America that's known for their food. And when I went there with my friend said she didn't really want to try out the local cuisine because it was not her thing. But the thing is, you have traveled to that area and you must at least try what they have to offer, what their food is about. So yeah, she did eventually try other stuff, but the other stuff, yeah. So in our culture in the Philippines, you're supposed to eat whatever is available. It's considered an insult, if you don't eat what the people have to offer, because people really don't have much, especially in some parts of the Philippines, and when they have guests, they offer what they have. So you're supposed to just eat it, out of respect. You may not necessarily like their food, but it is kind of considered rude if you don't eat it. It's a sign of respect. Yeah, which reminds me, so when I went to see my aunt, for some reason it was unannounced, and I didn't expect her to actually like kill her chicken for me. I was like, because I was a guest, and I'm like, dude, I was just traveling by, just I wanted to check out the place, and she was like so excited to have me there. She said like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill the chicken for you," and I'm like, "Oh, dude," I couldn't say no. So she actually did. After like an hour or so, they killed the chicken, which they had kept for other occasions, but they were lovely enough to offer it to me. So I kind of felt guilty. So I don't necessarily like chicken stew. I mean, it's okay. I wouldn't be looking for it, but I had to eat it because and I had to pretend I really loved it because I didn't want to insult my aunt and stuff, because she literally gave me her best meal ever. She cooked it from scratch. So that's how the culture is. So Filipinos don't have food restrictions. It's more like we eat anything. And it was an awakening when I moved to America, and then I realized that Americans are very picky with food, and they have to Americanize everything. Like sushi here is not really the sushi in anywhere. It's not the sushi in Japan. Even the Japanese wouldn't consider it as sushi. It's Americanized form of sushi. And like the Italian food, it's near Italian, but not really Italian. Like the mainstream Italian food is not really traditional Italian. It's Americanized Italian, because like even the Italians would say, "What's that?" And same with the Chinese food. I think the Chinese food is worse because it's considered as Chinese food, but it's really not really Chinese food per se. It's just almost Chinese food, like the General Tso's chicken. It's not really chicken from China. It's not a meal in China, but it's almost considered a meal in China. It's, because it has chicken and like spices that are almost Asian, soy sauce. So that's the thing in America. But I do appreciate that at least America is welcoming of other cultures. It's just that they have the tendency to Americanize everything, And so the pizza here is not really the Italian pizza. I've been to Italy actually, and I tasted their pizza. It's not the American pizza. That's all I can say. And their pasta as well, it's not the American pasta. It's different. And yeah, but and there's pastries here that, pastries, most of it comes from Europe, and it's Americanized pastry. So everything is different. It's almost that culture, but not really. It's Americanized. So I can understand now why there's a lot of McDonald's outside of the US. There's a lot of Starbucks outside of the US. It's because Americans want comfort food, and they're not comfortable. Most if not maybe 90%. I've met like 10% that are really open to other food, but most of them are either come from an immigrant family or have been exposed to immigrants, so they're just considered the weird ones. So anyway, but most Americans are not really accepting of other cultures, and then they're like, yeah, why are you doing that? Why are you eating that? But to be logical about it, and as I said, you really have to respect other people's cultures, because their food is a reflection of the resources that they have on their country. And that's why Japanese eat a lot of fish, because they're a group of islands. They're in the Pacific, and so that's why Filipinos eat a lot of pork, because that's the only meat that's easy to grow in an island, a group of islands. And That's why the Koreans like kimchi, and because it's like preserved during the winter, they preserve the cabbages, they put it under the ground and stuff before, I mean before, and then, you know, because they can't necessarily grow, cabbages during winter, so they store it and they ferment it and they add like sauces and stuff like that, so it's going to have a different smell because it's fermented. So yeah, and that's, I think, what other cultures, especially the developed countries, should understand, that each and every one of us is going to have our own food, our food culture, and it's really going to be weird to them because they're not used to it. But it really is a reflection of tradition, a reflection of the land, a reflection of their heritage, reflection of the culture, and reflection of just the people. You know, and it's not necessarily nice to look down on other people's food and other people's culture because they're just different. Everybody, we can't all be the same. There's like 7 billion people on the planet. We cannot all be the same. So, yeah, and that's why, the Filipinos were very open minded. Like, especially in my family, like, we like to eat out, and we're like foodies. And we're like, yeah, where's the next best thing? Like, I want to try that out. So I'm the same myself. I try out different cuisines. I try out new stuff. I try something new, because it's so boring if you keep on eating the same thing. Like, burger, pizza, spaghetti, steak. I mean, that is so fattening and that's kind of boring. There's a lot more food choices out there, and yeah, I'm really glad that the world has a lot of food, different types of food to offer, because that's how it should be, We should have a lot more food to offer to the world because it's 7 billion people, man. Yeah, we gotta learn to live with each other, tolerate each other's cultures. Anyway, I'm ranting again, but yeah, for me, Filipinos, we're a good bunch because we're open-minded. We like to try out new cuisines and we assimilate, to other cultures as well. We're like easygoing people. There's a few that are kind of strange, but most of the time, Filipinos, yeah, we're very, very open-minded people, willing to try out new things, try out new cuisines, open to other people's cultures, and we don't look down necessarily on other people's cultures. We just accept them because we realize that, we're just a small group of people, maybe like 100 million or so, and there's other countries that have like 200 million, like 300 million, like America, and there's like a billion or 2 billion, in India and China. So yeah, we're accepting that we are not the only people in the world, and there's other cultures that are meant to be appreciated and enjoyed, and that should be how it is, just accept, be tolerant of other cultures and other people's culture and food. Okay, and thank you very much for listening, and do check out my other episodes, and I hope you enjoy listening to them. Thank you. Bye-bye.